City Power here in Johannesburg has Joburg residents on the warpath. This after a Daily Maverick article highlighting that some people have power bills higher than their bonds, and that the Joburg Metro, according to Eskom research, has rates that are 26% higher than what Eskom charges for power. Well, let's discuss this now with Frank Hinder, Manager for Pricing and Tariff Structures at City Power. Good evening, Mr. Hinder. Thank you very much for joining us. I know that you've been sent the Eskom research. Can you comment on why, according to their research, Joburg is more expensive for power than other Gauteng metros?
Good evening to you, ma'am, and good evening to the viewers. Yes, we haven't. I should say that we haven't seen the study, and we have seen the extract from the study, so we are not quite clear in terms of what the assumptions are. However, the tariffs that we charge and as well as that Eskom charges are public documents. So our impression of the study is that it can only then try to compare a City Power supplied residential customer relative to a Eskom supplied residential customer. And then what it seems to suggest...
Yeah, carry on.
What it seems to suggest is that we charge 26% more. And we have looked at the tariffs, and our view is that, yes, indeed, we charge more than Eskom, and there are compelling reasons for that. But it's in approximately about 18% for the customer for customers consuming 800 kilowatt hours per month, as we have done.
Let's go back to basics, and please correct me, but from what I've looked at, Eskom charges at around 90 cents per kilowatt hour, and according to, and I've gone through my own bill, of course, you're charging on a sliding scale between R1.30 and R1.80 per kilowatt hour. Is that roughly correct?
Remember, that is roughly correct in terms of what we charge, but the bill structure is a bit more complex than that. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Eskom, I mean, remember, we are referring to what we call the home power and non-local authority tariff, which is and home power 4, it charges R1.45 for the first block and R2.44 for the second block. Plus, there is a network capacity charge.
So you're getting ahead of me, because we're going to unpack all of that. I just wanted to establish that you charge significantly more for power compared to Eskom. Then let's move on to what else we see in the bill. The network charge, 435 Rand a month. Okay, what does that cover? Why is that there? What are we actually paying for?
Maybe before I tackle that, I must just be clear that there is a difference in terms of how our tariff has been structured compared to that of Eskom. But
but don't you buy it, just 1 second, don't you buy it from Eskom at a single rate, at about 90 cents per kilowatt hour? Is that correct?
We buy it, our average tariff to Eskom will be in the order of 116 cents total. That's the average tariff at which we buy City Power from Eskom.
I see. So it does vary, but on average, that's what you pay Eskom to receive per kilowatt hour. Okay. So you then go on and charge the customer sort of R1.30 up to R1.80 and even beyond that. Okay. So there's extra costs built into that. Let's now move back to the network charge. On the bill as well, there's a 435 Rand network charge. What does that cover?
The nature of the service that we provide is high fixed cost intensive, implying that most of our operating cost is fixed.
Please explain that to me. I don't understand. What is high fixed cost?
It doesn't vary with the level of production.
I see. I understand.
The level of consumption by our customers.
All right, but what am I paying for?
You must put networks in place.
Sure.
You must lay cables, and those cables must be maintained so that they are always available to supply electricity to the customer on demand.
All right, so that network charge
is provided.
All right, so that network charge is for the infrastructure, for laying the cables, making sure that they are properly maintained. What is the service charge of 147 Rand a month for? That's also on my bill.
The service charge it's for the bill administration function. billing and servicing the customer. That's what it covers.
So that pays the admin staff, does it?
Yes.
All right. And then what is the network surcharge? That's another 100 Rand on my bill.
Now, the network surcharge is 6 cents a kilowatt hour, and it is for residential customers. We are exempt for the first 500 kilowatt hours we use in a given month. Now, that one is meant to cover two aspects of cost of operating city power. The first one is to say, when it comes to demand-side management initiatives that we are running, that it provides for that.
What is demand-side management? Explain that to me.
Yes. Demand-side management is where we put measures in place to ensure that encourage customers to use electricity more efficiently.
Oh, I see.
For example,
so
like
is this a bit of a penalty because I use too much power?
No, it's like a ripple control, meaning that if you are on our ripple control network during peak hour, your geyser even gets switched off for a certain period.
Okay.
And then we switch on again without the customer's enforcement.
So, okay, so I appreciate you breaking it down for us, but here's the concern that I have. You already charge me more than Eskom charges you per kilowatt hour for my power, okay? Then you add a network charge, then you add an admin charge, then you add a network surcharge. So I put it to you that you're basically double billing me.
Not necessarily. Remember, yes, we have a margin on the energy charge because the energy comes in, but we have a margin on it. But you will see, because given our structure, our energy charge is the lowest. It is compared to other metros.
Not according to Eskom.
Compared to other metros, even compared to Eskom, we are the lowest.
So here's the thing, it doesn't matter to me because I'm paying more because of those accumulated costs, and Eskom itself says that they sell it a lot cheaper. If I had a choice right now, I would buy direct from Eskom. And then you have to convince me that I'm getting an extra special service because I'm getting my power through city power. So give it your best shot.
You see, there are complexities around that. And it is not as straightforward as that. First of all,
unfortunately,
you need to be on Eskom's network.
I have given you a chance to explain those complexities. We've completely broken down the bill, and I still feel that you are putting too much on me because you're adding on to how much you get charged from Eskom, plus you're charging me $435 a month for a network charge, plus an admin cost of $147. I think you're billing me twice. Tell me why you're not.
We are not billing you twice because of our tariff structure. The margin that other entities add up on the energy for us is lower. In fact, our energy charge is even lower than what Eskom charges its residential customers. It's only that we have our tariff structure allows for a fixed charge, which at lower consumption level appears to be translates into a higher unit cost. But that practice is in line with how ideally customers should be charged. So all providers essentially are moving in that direction. Even Eskom is starting to talk about their network charge that is being inadequate. But we put the emphasis on the fixed charge because of the nature of the service we provide, rather than on the energy charge. Whereas other providers put emphasis on the energy charge, and therefore we don't charge as much on what we call the capacity charge.
All right, so what you're saying to me is you could actually just charge me more per kilowatt hour, and then you'd break that down and give some of it to the admin costs and some of it to the maintenance costs, which I understand, but it still doesn't explain why, all told, according to Eskom, Johannesburg's costs are 23% higher.
That's why we are saying that the documents, the rates are available publicly. Let's reassess this calculation. It is our point of view that we are approximately 18 to 19% higher than Eskom at the consumption level at which the study has been done. That puts us in line with Ekurhuleni and I believe also the city of Cape Town, even though I didn't look detailed into their tariffs, I am sure that puts us in line with what other metros are charging, including the Midval. So therefore, what we are charging is not 26% higher. It is higher than Eskom for very compelling reasons, as we source electricity from Eskom. Otherwise, it is not out of line with what other entities are charging.
Which is, and we're going to leave it here, but I am just going to reiterate that Eskom itself says at an average consumption of 800 kilowatts per month, the Tshwane tariff is 13% higher, Ekurhuleni is 18% higher, Cape Town 25% higher, Joburg 26% higher than Eskom. I understand why you're a bit higher than Eskom, but Joburg's right at the top. I guess it's because we're the city of gold. Thank you very much for your time this evening. That was Frank Hinder, Manager for Pricing and Tariff Structures at City Power.